So Napheesa Collier has won, well, not has won, she won like a week ago, the 1v1 competition in Unrivaled. It was an interesting, I will say. I did feel the 1v1 competition was interesting, and as far as the ratings are concerned, the finals and semi-finals did pretty well. They really did pretty well. And like, everyone likes to always talk ratings in a negative way when it comes to Unrivaled, and I do think there's a lot of negatives for that, but there's also some positives. In the 1v1 competition finals were definitely one of the positives of Unrivaled for everyone. But there was all this talk about it being rigged, and Napheesa Collier was rigged the draw so that she could make the money herself, and I'm like, man, what are people talking about? Like, you can't rig the 1v1 competition. She pummeled everybody. Like, the only close game she had was against Aaliyah Edwards in the final. But after getting beaten comfortably enough in game 1 up to 8, she then destroyed Aaliyah Edwards twice in a row. So yeah, she was never in doubt at all. And maybe you could argue if Katie Lou Samuelson could hit a 3-point shot, that Katie Lou might have beaten her. But like, Napheesa also missed a shot to win 11-0. And also, Katie Lou Samuelson has not hit a 3-pointer since she was in UConn. So we can't make that have that expectation. But yeah, so one thing that has happened with it is that with the 200k prize money, she has actually given out part of it. On February the 14th, she won her first ever Unrivaled one-on-one tournament after defeating Aaliyah Edwards in the Championship Series. Of course, Collier is one of the co-founders along with Stewie, and therefore knows firsthand how it's truly taking a village to get this league up and running. Collier received $200,000 as a result for winning the 1v1 competition, according to ESPN's Kendra Andrews. She's decided to distribute half of that money in a heartwarming way. Unrivaled co-founder Napheesa Collier is giving half the prize money for winning the league's first one-on-one tournament to her training and performance staff and assistant coaches working with her team, the Lunar Owls. Which is great. Which is really great. I'm guessing, knowing the internet, it's she's giving them this bonus, but like, it's not really the whole thing. They have to pay taxes on it. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how things work. I can't remember who it was. Someone gave out 100k and it was like, it's not really giving out 100k because they have to pay tax on half it. I'm like, yeah, that's how the government works. If you gave out 100k to someone living in Dubai, they wouldn't have to pay tax, but unfortunately, not in Dubai. But Collier wanted to make sure she found a way to show appreciation to the staff members pouring hard work into her startup league, a source close to Unrivaled told ESPN. Through the first half of the season, Collier made a point to continuously mention the personnel working with players, calling them the best in the world. She didn't necessarily head into the one-on-one tournament planning to share her award, sources said, but almost immediately after she won, she thought it was the right thing to do. So that's again, that is a big thing. So she got the 200k check. It's truly an awesome gesture for Collier and will go a long way for those for all those benefiting from it. Collier still undefeated in Lunar Owls. Like, Napheesa Collier is, like, if we can be completely honest right here. We're not in the cult of Asia. Like, we're not members of the cult of Asia. Napheesa Collier, until Asia proves otherwise, is the best player in the world. And I've been saying that since the season. And you might be saying, oh, Asia was unanimous MVP. Well, yeah. Asia's team got beaten in the second round of the playoffs badly by the Liberty, and Napheesa Collier's team, without another quote-unquote superstar on her team, Kayla McBride's insanely good, but without a huge well-known superstar, where a referee allowing Stewie to do the cha-cha slide into a clean block and getting it called wrong on the spot and then getting it called wrong on review, away from being champion finals MVP. And let's not forget in the playoffs, when Aja Wilson was worse than she was in the regular season, Napheesa Collier averaged 40 points a game in the first round against the Mercury, and they needed those 40 points a game because the Mercury were a good playoff team. They were not an easy out at all. So yeah, it's one of those things where until Aja does not have the crown, Napheesa Collier, especially with how well she's been doing on Unrivaled. She was the best player in the WNBA for the totality of last season. Not just regular season, to the totality of it. she was the best player in the WNBA, now is by 100 miles the best player in Unrivaled. Like, the second best player is Kayla McBride. But, like, she's by so much the best player. And now you're seeing, obviously, she is to have helped start up that league and willing to give money to the people around her, like the staff who helped her set up the league, which is a really, really nice gesture. And it's a good thing because it kind of shuts up the whole, like, oh, Napheesa Collier rigged it for the money. I'm like, look, he's worth not the 200k is nothing for Napheesa Collier, but she's worth a good chunk of money. Like, she is one of the players in the WNBA that's actually, like, worth quite a bit. Like obviously, like, Sabrina's worth millions, Aja's worth millions. Worth tens, both of them were probably tens of millions. Caitlin Clark's worth tens of millions. And net worth of athletes is so hard to calculate because if people are, like, judging net worth, if we assume the athlete is a company, then how much is their brand going to be worth in the future? Like, how much? Because it's easier to get an individual person's net worth because you just take their assets minus liabilities, and then if they own a company, what the company is worth in general. And it's easier to figure that one out than what an individual player is worth. It's like I saw someone was like Caitlin Clark, whatever, her net worth's like 7 million or something because of after taxes and her deals. But I'm like, but Caitlin Clark brand is probably worth 100 million. So it's weird. But either way, Napheesa Collier is worth quite a bit of money. So I don't think the 200k, I think the gesture of giving away 100k to try end is worth more to her than the rigged conversations. Like, the rigged conversations were the most dangerous thing for Unrivaled. And I think we're going to be seeing the rigged conversation stop now, which is obviously an absolutely huge thing because once conversations start about the league being rigged, it's game over. It is completely then game over. So, this is pretty much it. Pretty much it, lads, for the video. Napheesa Collier is killing it and a really great gesture. And I'm not sure if there are any other players in the league that would have done the same. I think possibly Stewie would have done the same because, well, again, Stewie's somebody that's worth quite a bit more than Napheesa Collier. And obviously being a founder of the league, not that there's a conflict of interest. I fully don't believe that there's a conflict of interest. Like, the league is founded and owned by the players. People are like, oh, the owner of the league does the X, Y, Z. I'm like, well, they're all owners, technically. They're technically, every single one of those players are owners. So I don't really get that argument. But yeah, I do think it's a better look for the league that she's done this. And it's good PR for herself. It is. But anyway, I'll see you guys.